All right, everyone online, I think we got the meeting started right now. Let me know if you can't hear me. It looks like everything's working correctly. But my name's Chase Sapp. I'm with the Snap board. We got AJ Capital here tonight ready to present on their Chestnut development. So everyone knows we got a pretty good crowd here. So how this is going to work is we're going to get an overview of the project from AJ here in the first 10 or 15 minutes. If you're online through Zoom, please put all your questions in the chat and we'll collect those. And then we'll make sure those get to AJ and we'll address those later on. And then we're going to kind of do like a charrette style here at the Snap Center where we get up and have specific stations for specific Q&A. I just want to let everyone online know and everyone here know. We've worked with AJ obviously on many projects. They've been a big part of the neighborhood for a while now. We appreciate them coming and doing this for us. This project's very important to them and it's obviously very impactful on the neighborhood. So we want to make sure that the people here tonight and the people in the community who have to live with this day to day actually, know what's happening and can have a say and are aware of, the project and the benefits it brings, as well as some of the struggles that could occur. And the communication through that is what's important. So Snap's always been of the opinion that just the communication and us hearing from them and having the input on our side is the most important. So the people in the community that are here tonight that will be affected by this, we're really interested to hear what you think, and feel free to reach out, whether it's here through the Zoom or through our email, and we'll be sure to get everything addressed after the meeting tonight. So with that, I'll turn it over to AJ and let them take it away. Sorry.
Hi, everyone. My name is Pablo. I'm with Adventurous Journeys, along with my colleague, Jack, Thomas, and Zach. We also have our architects here, Jim and Mike, as well as our traffic and parking consultants, Tyler and Megan. First and foremost, thank you, Snap, for letting us use your room, for being thoughtful partners and really working with us to make sure that y'all's voices are heard and that we have something that we can all be proud of. Today, we're going to go over what we're calling the Chestnut Street Mixed Use Project. It's going to include one portion office, the other portion a music venue. I think that probably the most interesting thing to everybody is the music venue component to all of this. And so we really want to make sure that you all understand how the programming is going to be worked through, all the thoughts that we've gone through to make sure that this works for everyone, not only on the business side, but also for the neighborhood, because we envision this to be a neighborhood-centric music venue that is not only going to hold concerts and events, but it's also going to be used by the community, whether that be schools, whether that be Snap. We have a lot of hopefully fun and interesting things to be able to utilize that. So with that being said, I'd like to pass it over on to Mike to give you guys sort of a high level view of the project. And then I think with this style of meeting, I hope it'll lead to some really thoughtful dialogue and answering questions and having meaningful conversations. I know I recognize a lot of people in the room, not only through Neighborhood Day, but through other community meetings. So thank you all for being here as well and taking part in the community process.
Thanks, Pablo. So speaking for myself and Jim and the entire HPA team, we've been working with the Adventurous Journeys team here in Metro Houston since 2018. Projects National Warehouse Company, the Mayhoe Redevelopments, Phase 3. We are really excited to present this today. I think it builds upon the foundations that were laid out in the neighborhood study that was produced a couple of years back, and the historic infrastructure and kind of fabric of the neighborhood, and really the life that the neighborhood has taken on in the years since we started working here. So we've focused on trying to make a really pedestrian-oriented, activated project along Chestnut Street. We are really, I think, excited about what this brings. Architecturally, we've looked to tie it back into the heritage across the street of the hosiery and the other industrial kind of nature of the surrounding neighborhood, as well as the train tracks, which are kind of our neighbor on the other side of Chestnut, right? Is this kind of buffer to the edge of the neighborhood. So we look forward to answering any questions you guys have about the specifics of the project in general. But yeah, thank you for your time today and for coming out.
I think that's it. Let's get into the Q&A and
Before we break up into the charrette style, let me just say it's great to be back in person here. It's been a long time since we've had
yeah.
a not Zoom only meeting, so it's good to see everybody and see some familiar faces and some new faces too. So jump right into it.
Yeah, and so just so everybody's aware, this is sort of general AJ related projects. We have our project map, just general information. You can ask anything about any projects. Right here will be mostly concentrated on traffic and parking, and then design and concept in that corner. So if you want to hit all of them up, obviously you're more than welcome to. If you're passionate about any one particular topic, you know where to go.
That's good.
Shay?
For the online people, can you quickly just give kind of a breakdown of what it is? Because just there's 2 levels of parking underground.
Yeah, there's going to be 350 spot underground garage underneath. It's a maximum capacity of 4,500 people. We do not envision shows. The way that they work is concerts normally actually are not sold out. I think the average attendance that we're envisioning is 2,000 to 3,000 people per event. There's going to be about 90 to 100 events a year, so give or take 1 or 2 a week. Not all of them necessarily concerts. Some could be, corporate events, things like that. And the really cool thing about this venue is that it can be interchanged. So maximum capacity of 4,500 people is standing room only. Not every concert is going to be a standing room only concert or event for that matter. So depending on the act, depending on the event, all of those things can be interchangeable to be seated, to be standing room only. We are compliant with the community plan, everything that, this community worked really hard over the last 3-4 years. We are adhering to all of those policies. And really not asking for anything from the city. This is all private money. There's no local dollars going into this project at all. And I think.
Yeah. Can you talk about the location of the lot with where it's at? And then I know that both buildings are technically 4 to 5 stories, right?
They're both at the 5-story height. Yes.
The 5-story height.
Yeah.
Just your thoughts on how it backs up to the railroad track, like what's currently there.
I think Mike can take that.
Yeah, so as you come in, so Chestnut, between the railroad tracks and the kind of bend, there's property generally northwest of Chestnut as you run along that side, between that and the arc of the track. So that's where it sits right now. There is an existing, I think it's a 1 or 2-story warehouse that sits at the middle. Right now it sits kind of where Martin meets Chestnut at the terminus there. So this is proposed as a replacement, and I think the major design move that kind of anchors everything is a pedestrian-focused plaza that sits as the kind of opposite of Martin Street as it meets Chestnut, right? So it's the receiving, connecting it to the fabric of the neighborhood. The venue sits to the, we'll call planned southwest. If you're looking towards the Ford, it's on the kind of left side of that plaza, and that will be active kind of along the street frontage, backing up to the tracks that is behind it, right, the existing CSX property. And then on the opposite side is the office with retail fronting the ground floor along Chestnut Street and turning into the plaza. So, and as you mentioned, I think all parking is below grade, 2 levels, 350 parking spaces. So that really lets us activate the ground floor as much as we can along Chestnut and the plaza. So.
Excellent. Sounds good. So with that overview, we'll probably end the recording. Feel free to keep putting questions in the chat online, and we'll document those and address those. But
And just so that everyone online knows that you'll be sending the 1-pager fact sheet to everybody so that they have it. So.
Yeah, there's a 1-pager that's been provided here, so we'll get that out to the community. We'll also continue to update on open questions and concerns that we have after this meeting. Yeah, and Snap will continue to kind of address topics that arise tonight and work with AJ and the community to make sure we know everything. Excellent.
Sorry, can I be that girl real fast and ask a question, or like procedural question?
Sure. Yeah.
So your preliminary SP has been approved by the planning commission, so now when is your metro council meeting start?
So for those who may not know, when you go to council, it's 3 readings. The first reading is the introduction of the legislation, then you move on to your second reading. In this case, it would be a public comment meeting, and then you have the sort of just rubber stamp third meeting if everything presumably goes well. The legislation is set to be introduced on the 18th of October. Yes.
Okay.
Next Tuesday's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so just as like for us in the community, what do you hope to get from us tonight that will inform your final SP, right? So like your plan has essentially been conditionally approved. So what does our feedback, how does our feedback play into the council meeting, the final SP, the council meeting approval, and then you'll have to go back to planning commission for the final SP. So how do we continue these conversations and not miss like input in the final SP?
Yeah, so I think that based on our previous experiences, I think that's just sort of a fluid situation. If something comes up, if there are other questions that may have not been addressed tonight, that's something that's incumbent upon us to answer pretty soon thereafter. Have conversations with the SNAP board members. But really what we're looking to do here is we're sort of here availing ourselves to all of you. We want to make sure that you all have the information. Like, we're not hiding anything. All of this is publicly, available information. But we just want to make sure that you're hearing everything from us. And if there are questions, if there are concerns, hopefully we get to answer all of those, and hopefully we can turn those concerns into not concerns, right? And make all of you feel more comfortable about this project. That's really what we're looking for.
And then after the meeting, we work with councilman as well to update him. So he's the one who obviously introduces us to the readings. So there is a certain amount of kind of understanding between SNAP, the developer, the councilman, that like we're more of a conduit. We just want to make the community aware, make sure all concerns are heard, and we put it out to the people who actually can influence. And so
before
that's
the final
hope.
SP, I'm assuming it's 9 months from now.
So when we talk about final SP, that's, you're talking,
9-12 months, yeah.
even more, right? Because the final SP doesn't come into play until
You're ready to start.
you get through council. So you've gone through all those 3 readings, and then it's a back and forth with whatever entity has opinions. That could be Metro Historic, that
On the
could
city
be,
staff side.
and like all those things get worked out through more or less a 9 to 12 month process. Yes.
And it's always, Snap's always tried to have this meeting as quick as possible. So that's been the biggest thing with us is, we kind of went through the process there as quick as possible, getting the community involved, because you can have the biggest impact the earlier you get involved. So. All right, on that note, I'll end the online recording. Again, continue to ask questions. But everyone online, we'll post this and we'll post updates on what was discussed here as well.